these days I need to take you guys onto that side of the property. There's a whole other side of the property over there that you guys have never seen, and I've only been over there maybe a couple times, just because it is just the part of the property where I expect all the little creatures live. And somebody said to me in the comments this morning that I shouldn't worry so much about the creatures, and I'm like, yeah, I'm still trying to get used to them. So I'm walking around and my car is completely surrounded by all this mud, and it's so hard. I'm just like sinking in the mud. So I need to go out today, but I have a little bit of fear that if it's like this on the roads, then I don't want to leave. But on this part where I had the dirty screen put down, it's still muddy, but it's easier to walk here. So if it's anything like that, the roads going out have material on it, so I should be fine. My guys should be coming today, so what I'll do is I'll ask them what the road is like before I venture out, because there are things I have to get done today. I'm actually gonna go look at shiplap, the price for shiplap, and trying to compare it. I got the quote back for doing sheetrock, and while it's not terrible, I'm trying to find the least expensive way to do this, and so I need to go explore. And with the what am I saying? The sheetrock is not expensive for the sheetrock and installation. It's the mudding and the smoothing and all of that stuff. That's where the labor comes in and where it costs more. So I'm thinking if I could just pay for the labor for the shiplap and the labor for that, it might be cheaper, or I might be able to do some of it myself. I definitely can't do the ceiling myself, but maybe I can do the walls. So I'm kind of looking into all those possibilities right now, and I need to go out and just actually see what the sheets are and what the best option is for me. So I need to go. I feel like I'm a little bit stuck on the land today, but like I said, walking on here, this has the material on it, and as you can, I don't know if you can hear my footsteps, it's better than walking in the mud, even though I'm literally parked in the mud over there. But it's just a little short drive, so I shouldn't get stuck. At least I hope not. So this part of my property is that they're supposed to be coming back today to finish that trench. That's a joke, because this part of the property, as you can see, doesn't get a lot of sun, so it holds on to the snow, it holds on to the ice a little bit longer, so it's harder to dig that hole. And I really am looking forward to that farm bib to be installed, because I'm tired of using these little bottles of water. And so I'm hoping they can get something done today. They should be coming. They're just waiting for the ice to clear off of the roads a little bit before they head out here. So it's about sometime after 11 right now. So we'll see. Oh, I just saw a jackrabbit, but he ran away before I was able to get a video of him. I didn't even come out here for a video. I was just checking on things back here. My guys are here today trenching, and my guy says to me, because I haven't told him about my YouTube channel, I'm just like, you know, I don't know, it's kind of awkward to tell people about it. And so he says to me, are you getting a lot of views on your page? And I'm like, what page? And he's like, your YouTube channel. I'm like, your 30-day thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys aren't supposed to know that I have a YouTube channel. So they apparently found it, but I'm trying to see if the little rabbit will come back. But he hopped over there. So that's the first one I've seen since I've been here. Now I've seen them on the land before when I came to visit, but since I've been here, it's the first one I've seen. Now I was standing over on the other side a couple weeks back and I saw something, but I wasn't sure what I saw. So I assumed it was them. So my little bunny, come back so I can see you. I think it's scoping out my little garden area because I know they're going to be making my life miserable with this garden. Now the soil is nice and soft. Well, it's really too muddy today, but I think I may work on the garden post since the soil is so soft. I was gonna go out and my guys told me like, no, the roads are really bad right now. They almost got stuck a couple times, so I think I'm just gonna stay in today and try to find something to do around here, namely the fence posts. So we'll see if I get around to that, because it's still really muddy to be out here. All right, so I'm here trying to put in my fence posts without the use of a plumb line, because I still did not pick one up, but I did pick up a level. And so what I'm doing is just like placing them and then using my tape measure to check for plumbness, and it looks like it might be working. Now it's probably not gonna be perfect, but it's something. I don't know why I didn't pick one up. Well, I actually forgot to pick one up, but we'll see. Okay, so I have one side of my fence complete with the posts. They're off a little bit, you can tell. They're 5 feet apart, but the gate opening, which is right here, is 8 feet apart. So I can kind of look at, well, I need to drive them in deeper, so I'm just setting them right now, and then I'll go back and drive them in deeper. I can tell some of them are off a little bit, some are a little formula didn't quite work. Instead of using a tape measure, I started to use one of the steels. So I just kind of put it and then put the level on top of it to get a more true level. And I think they're pretty level. Because the little tufts of grass are on the ground, it was hard to get like exact measurements. So honestly, a plumb thing is probably what's ideal. But you know, it's the rustic nature of the garden and building. Let's just chalk it up to that. Shalom everybody. I've been a homebody for the last couple of days. I haven't gone anywhere, mainly because it's been so muddy. My guys were able to come yesterday and get some work done, and they told me how much they struggled getting through the snow. They almost got stuck a couple times. So I was supposed to go get some stuff done. I decided not to leave. Then they called me again this morning and said they're not going to risk it today because it's still real muddy out there. So they are probably coming on Thursday. They just have a few last minute things to do. They're finishing the trench back here, installing my farm bib, and then a sheetrock guy. I need to get him. I got my quote back. I decided I'm just gonna go ahead with sheetrock because when I looked at the other options, they were much more to me. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and have him scheduled. So we have all those things in the works right now, scheduled to happen probably next week. So hope if it doesn't snow or anything, because you know I have the road base, not a road base, but the dirty screen on the pathways, but it still gets muddy. I'll turn this around and show you. So it still gets really muddy here, and it's okay to walk on it and actually drive on it too, but we have some parts of the property or the road coming in that's really muddy, and I personally don't want to go out there and get stuck. In fact, my neighbor said to me, don't go by myself if I need to go out. Just wait for him, just in case I get stuck, he can pull me out because he has a Jeep. And so I decided to just gonna stay put. Now I do have a networking event tomorrow that I want to go to, so hopefully it's dried out enough for me to go to that. And I have packages I need to go pick up. And I was working on my garden area, and I put a pause on it because I wanted to go out and get a plumb line in order to make sure that my posts are even. And James even came by to work and said he'll come back as well too. So the snow has kind of left a little bit of a muddy mess, and I'm not able to get much done. But you know what? I still love the snow. So I'll go over to my little garden area and I'll show you what I've been up to. Now, I did do some updates before that I will be posting as well, so this is not new stuff. I did do a story, not a story, but a shorts. So as you can see, they're crooked, so don't laugh at me. Well, the whole point was just to place them the 5 feet apart so I can see how many I have if I needed more. I know I could measure it out, but my tape measure is like really short and it's just not real practical to use it, honestly. So I decided to just go ahead and place them where they're supposed to go. And I have more than enough because I bought 45 of them and I still have about 15 left, and it looks like I only need about 4 or so over there. And so what's gonna happen next is once I get the plumb line, I will just run it along, because you can see this one is not even with this one. So so once I get the plumb line, I will go ahead and just run it along here and put them in the same line, and then I will knock them into the ground a little bit deeper. So they're just, because the ground was so nice and soft, I figured it was the best time to do it where I can just stick it in the ground. So I didn't even nail these in, I just stuck them in the ground, and I'm just to kind of place them for right now. So it's given me a good idea of what it's going to be when it's all finished, and so it was time well spent, I think. Okay, so this is what I was talking about that I plan to do with the line to extend it. I just went out and got 2 of these little things, hook and eye thing, I don't know what they're called. I do need to get a line stick. I think my line is a little bit lower than I was expecting it to be, but so I got 2 of those, so that extended it out for me. I got a call first thing this morning from the carport people. They were supposed to be coming tomorrow to install a carport, and they're changing that to another day. Now, if you can guess what day it is, a Saturday. Saturday is my Shabbat, and I don't do any work on Saturdays. Not only do I not work on Saturdays, I don't allow other people to work on Saturdays, that in a way that benefits me. However, because I desperately need my solar, I'm asking Yah to forgive me for this, but they're coming on Saturday. Because if I had said no to that, I probably would not see them again for months. And if you've seen other parts of this video, or maybe a previous video where I mentioned that they bumped me off and completely blamed me as if I was the one who wasn't ready. And so I just did not want to end up in that situation again. So unfortunately, they're coming on Saturday when they were supposed to be coming tomorrow. Not too thrilled about it, but I'm hoping they can knock it out in a couple hours or so. Like I said, typically I'm just like chilling, studying, watching services online or something like that. I usually am not like dealing with contractors on a Saturday, so that's gonna have to happen this Saturday, unfortunately. So but yeah, but at least they're coming. Even the solar people called me yesterday to ask me when I'll be ready, and I told them, oh, we're gonna be ready on Thursday. But I said, let me just call you back afterwards, don't schedule it afterwards, because you know. And good thing I didn't schedule it with them, because yeah. But anyway, it's just the way of the world. Yeah, so I will have a couple new additions to the homestead. I just picked this up today from the, please ignore my dirty car, but I just picked this one up today. I don't know if you can see that. And then this one's been in my car for a few days now that I need to work on. And oops. Sorry about that. But I don't know if you can take a little sneak peek in there. Maybe you can see it, maybe not. All right, let's show you a little bit more. So it's a weather station. Sorry for the shaky camera right now. So this one is actually a collaboration, and it's my first one. I've been offered a couple others that I turned down because they just had nothing to do with my homestead. But this one I could totally use, and I was excited to do that. So I'm gonna be setting it up, giving my honest review about that soon. And then so look for that video in the next few days or so. But this one is one that I bought, and I'm sorry, so I'm gonna show you a little bit more of that shortly. Okay, the latest addition to the homestead. So this is from Vivor, how do you say that? And I have 2 wheelbarrows in storage, and I couldn't reach them. Of course I went into the storage, as you may know if you've been watching for a while, and couldn't get to anything. And so, well, the wheelbarrow wasn't too far in. I could move some stuff, but I didn't need it at the time. But anyways, it's very difficult to go back into my storage container because the door sticks so much. So I decided to just invest in one of these. And so I was looking online and Tractor Supply and stuff, and I was seeing them for like 200, 250. And then this just kind of, I guess because I was searching for them, this popped up and it was $85. So I haven't put it together yet, so I don't know the quality or anything. But I'm just like, I need it because, as you guys know, I'm putting my stone garden together. And so what I've been doing is walking all over the property. It's not terribly far, but I'll walk and pick up a couple, and then sometimes I'm all the way over there or all the way on the other side, and I'll just pick up a couple and put them in place, go back and look for a couple. So I've been yearning for a wheelbarrow or a cart or something. So this was a good investment. I'm sure it's going to get a lot of use. I haven't gone outside much today because I was busy kind of doing office work all day. But I decided to step outside this evening, and just as I'm here putting my boots on, I'm just checking out my view, and man, am I in love with this view. I can't wait to put a window in this shed that will eventually be my office, and so I can just look out as I'm working. It's just, and just kind of cut back some of those trees. It will just be so perfect. Yeah, just wanted to share that. I was just sitting here thinking that I never owned a beanie before I moved here, and now I have lots of beanies. I have even beanies that are the same color. Like I have multiple same color because they were in Walmart on sale, so I picked up a few of them, and no, I can't get enough of them. I actually sleep in these things because, weirdly enough, before I fall asleep at night and I'm kind of warm and toasty in my sleeping bag, somehow I can kind of feel a cold draft on my head. It's weird. It's not like cold where it's bothering me, but I can kind of feel a little bit of a draft. So I keep a beanie on pretty much all the time. Anyways, I'm jumping on here just to address a comment I received today. So what I've been doing is just kind of recording small clips over the course of a few days, and then I'll kind of just figure out what I'm going to kind of put together and create one video. And so some of the clips are probably going to be comments going forward. And obviously I enjoy getting comments, and I enjoy getting different perspectives and feedback and so on. And so it's nothing negative. I cannot understand why people do sheds instead of doing a manufactured home. And it's a very legit question. If it's a question, it's a legit comment. So my response to that was, hey, I made the best decision for me. Like, that's kind of what it boiled down to. And I want the person to know that I'm speaking for myself, but I'm sure a lot of other people who have gone down this road have kind of done the research, have kind of put the facts together to see what was best for them. I'm sure they all kind of went through this thought process and possibly researching every single option there is out there for housing. So in my case, I started out thinking I wanted a barn dominium. I built a barn dominium in Texas for my business. It was a 40 by 60 and I did a two-story. So it ended up being $4,800, 4,800 square feet. And honestly, based on the size of it and what I ended up paying for it was very well priced. So I realized that barn dominiums were a good way to go for housing here. So that's literally what I had set to do up to, I'd already designed it in my head. I'd already spoken to several companies and chosen the company that I wanted to work with. Everything was in place to do a barn dominium, except when I started to kind of get down to the nitty gritty now of kind of putting a budget together and realizing that the concrete was going to be crazy expensive. And I was only going to do maybe, I don't remember the size I was thinking, but I think it was going to end up being like 1,100 square feet. And I even paid my drafts person to draft out things for me because sometimes I just pay somebody during the normal course of business. I have people that I work with to do some of the drawings for me, renderings and things like that. So I was set on doing a barn dough. And the price was going to be decent, actually. It was the concrete that ended up being a problem. So I switched from that and I started exploring manufactured homes. So, I will tell you this, manufactured homes, I've always been a little bit cautious about them because I personally think that they're priced for a lot more than I think they should be priced based on the materials that they put into them. And this is just kind of based on what I've seen. I've never done any like deep research on it until recently. So when I came into town, I started looking at manufactured homes because there are a couple community manufactured home dealers not too far from here. And I went and I'm looking at them, and the least expensive one you can get like a single wide, maybe just 2 bedrooms. You're already looking at like $60,000, $70,000. And as a designer, you look at the materials in them, and I kind of know that these are like basic materials, rock bottom materials. And again, that wasn't the driving force about the way it looks. I just wanted shelter. But I'm just like, if I'm gonna fork out $60,000, $70,000 to, and it was more than that. Like some of them were like $100,000 for just something, 2 bedrooms, single wide, things like that. They were like getting up in price. And so for me, I was just like, that doesn't that's not going to work out for me, because first of all, you have to either get a mortgage, or I don't even know what you get. I've never explored what's involved in that. I did not have $100,000 to just fork out on in cash on a manufactured home. Okay, so that was off the table for me. And so that's how I ended up, let me look into what a shed would be. And you can get a shed, $14,000, a decent size, something that you can build out at your own pace, as you have money, and live in it. So for about $30,000 or so, you can be in a shed that you can build out at your own pace and have a shelter. And so that's why I went that route, because it was not double the price to get in the entry point. Okay. So that's the response to the question that gentleman, I don't know if it's a gentleman or a lady that asked that question, that they never understand why people would choose a shed. A shed is a viable way to go. Yes, it's a smaller living space. And a lot of them are well built because people are moving in that direction. So the shed companies are building them for living quarters now. And so they're putting a little bit more thought into the materials and the construction itself. So it's a viable option for a lot of people. So it's not a shed. It is a dwelling for a lot of people. And it's an entry point where a lot of people can get into the lifestyle that they want without coming up with a lot of money or without going into debt doing so. I was also watching a video from a homesteading channel that I watch every once in a while. It pops up in my feed, and I will watch them. And wonderful couple. I really like what they're doing. And she did this video about the rent to own option for sheds or for these cabins is a scam. And while I kind of agreed that it's probably not the best choice that you can make if you had any other choice, I did not like the fact that she called it a scam, because it's not a scam. A scam is when you you know, participate in something or give your money to something that you did not end up getting anything in return, and somebody took your money under false pretense and you did not get what you thought you were going to get out of the deal. That would be a scam. But when it comes to rent to own, while it is something that I kind of think is slightly predatory, where they know that typically it's people who don't have the best credit that usually go for that. And that's not always the case. I'm just saying typically it's people who have trouble getting traditional financing. It's typically people who don't have the upfront cash to do what they want to do. And so they find that renting to own is a good solution because it's usually for a short term, maybe up to 5 years or so. And so for them to be making interest rates as high as they are making the interest rates, to me, is slightly predatory. But at the same time, I also, because I'm a business person too, so I try to always look at it from that angle. And they're taking on a crazy risk. You know what I mean? So when somebody goes in to buy a shed and they're going to do the rent to own option, they are this rent to own company is basically paying the shed company or the dealer or the manufacturer. They're paying them up front, and then they're taking on the risk of you paying them over time. And if you don't pay them, then they come back and repossess it and all of those things, and it costs them, I'm sure it costs them money to repossess as well. So they're taking on a lot of risk, and so I'm sure that accounts for why the prices or the interest rates or their fees are what they are. But I still think they're above what they could be, right? But I think it's a viable option for somebody who is very disciplined, somebody who has a plan, somebody who knows that this is a short-term solution for something that they're looking to do long-term, and they have the means and they have the ways to make sure that they stay on top of it so it doesn't ever get repossessed. So while the young lady gave some really valid points that it was not the best option, I think she and her husband looked into doing it and they were ready to do it, and they realized that it's not a good option for them. I totally respect that. And it's probably not the first option that I would go to, but it is a viable option for people who are looking to do this and they have a plan in place on how they're going to navigate this thing. So to call it a scam, I think, was just a little bit of a strong statement. So I just wanted to say that this is a way that most people can escape the system. Okay. Now I do this just because I don't want to sound all like, oh, conspiracy theorist and whatever. But a lot of us who are off-gridding now and doing the homestead thing, we're doing it because we can kind of see that the world is not exactly what it was a few years ago. And we can see that the pattern of rebounding is not necessarily happening. And we understand Bible prophecies. We understand certain things. And we are thinking that, you know what? Let's go do this. Let's go live this lifestyle that maybe we can sustain ourselves in case something goes wrong. So I came to Lowe's here to pick up a plumb line, a chalk line thing. And while I'm here, I decided to kind of look at sheetrock to see, I kind of have an idea how much they are per sheet. I saw them ranging from about $19 to about $30-something, depending on the thickness. And as I'm here looking, I came across something that I considered in the beginning, but kind of did not pursue it. And it is the really thin Luan plywood. And I'm gonna go back there and look at it again. And so one of these is like $21 for a 4x8. And I'm thinking if I did these on the walls and then where the seams meet, I just did something interesting. I think that could work. Instead of sheetrock, because I honestly, sheetrock wasn't my first choice, but chose it because of the pricing. And I'm seriously considering this. So it's on aisle 14. And so I'm thinking it's a viable option because I like the idea of doing like a tongue and groove or a wood type wall instead of sheetrock. Sheetrock was just a strong contender because of the price point. And while I'm here, I was also looking at tiles for the bathroom. Now I had my mind, now I know you're probably gonna think this is weird, but I was thinking of red subway tiles, and it has to be like the perfect shade of red, oxblood red. And I found it at Floor and Decor, but there isn't one up here. There's one, the closest one is 3 hours away in Mesa, and I could drive to go get it, but the pricing on it, I mean, it wasn't too bad. It was like $1 something a square foot, so I mean, that's as cheap as you can go. But I was also looking at what Lowe's has here to offer, and while honestly these are not my first pick for tiles, I see a couple options that I like. I like this, for that would be nice on the bathroom floor. And then this one up here, the pattern one that has the terracotta in it. Actually, I pulled them down here. Now I'm more big on the floor, doing like something like a mosaic tile, but I could do something like that with the patterns in it. So I was looking at some wall options, and I prefer to do subway on the walls, but then I could also do something like this on the walls, the 12 by 24. I even love this rustic looking one here, but I don't like it with the floor tile. So these are strong contenders. I am not real focused on that right now. I'm trying to really resolve the wall tile issue first, not the wall material issue first, and then come back to tile, because tile you can always find. So just trying to show you some of what I'm exploring in here. But that like really bold color one tile, that's it right up there. And there is the terracotta color one. Together, I mean, the colors are consistent, but I probably wouldn't put them together. Just a little bit too strong of a look for what I'm going for. So we'll revisit this tile situation later, but I'm gonna go ahead to aisle 14 to find the Lawn plywood. Another thing I'm looking for is bathroom vanity. Depending on what route I go with the kitchen cabinets, I may just have the gentleman also, I'm getting a quote right now for the kitchen cabinets, and I may just have him do the bathroom cabinets as well. I like things to look a little unique, so I usually don't go for, you know, already built stuff. I usually try to customize it as much as possible, but as you all know, everything's gonna come down to pricing at this point. So if I got something like this off the shelf, I'll give it my own little twist by maybe repainting, changing out hardware, things like that. So I usually try to go the customer out first, but these are considerations as well. But I'm still not focused on this just yet. Right now, my big focus is on how am I gonna finish the walls. So what I'm doing right now is having her cut it in half so I can bring it home, try it out to see if I like the look of it. So I'm thinking this is a very viable option for what I'm trying to do. I don't have to worry about finishing it. Well, I have to figure out what to do about the seams, but I don't have to worry about muddying and all of that stuff if I don't have to. And so this might be the route I'm gonna go, but this is a test run, so we'll see. All right, so I'm here at the cash register about to pay for this. Gonna take it home, see what I think about it. Hopefully this wasn't $21 wasted, but I feel confident in it. I love the color, I love the wood grain, and I think I could live with it all over the walls. So I'm getting rung up now. Okay, so you guys hear me out. instead of sheetrock, I'm thinking this plywood on the walls. It's very thin. It's 1/8 of an inch. And it's pretty much the same finish on both sides, although one side seems a little bit lighter. I like the reddish tone of it. It kind of looks almost like walnut to me, but I don't know what wood species it is. And it's the right length, 8 feet. And these walls are about 93 inches or so. The seam, they come in 4 foot width, but I had to cut it down to make it fit in my car. But I'm still kind of wrangling with what would I do about the seams when 2 seams meet, and the little nail holes. Here you can see it over here. So I love the grain of it. I think it would look really cool on the walls. So you tell me, what do you think about doing that as my walls? Now the wood flooring that I have is a white oak. And so this has a reddish tone to it. So I'm just kind of wondering if I want to have that reddish tone on the walls. And like I said, on the back side of it, let me see if I can get behind this one. It's a little bit lighter on the back side of it. It's not as red. So, and this is something I could potentially install the walls myself. I need to put in some wood in between these studs, some horizontal braces in between the studs. But I'm intrigued by it. And these are only like $22 per sheet versus, I mean, you can get some sheetrock pieces for $19 and they go up to maybe like $35, I think. But this, I wouldn't have to worry about mudding and taping and stuff, but I would have to worry about the nail holes, and I'd also have to worry about how to handle the seams, which I think the seams could become like a really cool feature of it, where I just kind of get like a contrasting wood color and just have like vertical seams, so it just looks like a design detail. So I'm still kind of playing around with this idea. This could be a lot less expensive, because for the walls, I probably would need about, I want to say about 24 pieces. For the ceiling, I don't know how the ceiling would work, honestly, with all the angles. So I definitely would have to get help with the ceiling though. But the walls, I think I could manage. And the walls are the major part of it, so. All right, we'll see. I'll let you know what my decision is. Well, more disappointment from the carport people. They were supposed to be here today. It's 12:30 now and nothing, no word from them. I don't know if they're still coming, I doubt it. They were supposed to come on Thursday. They called to reschedule and they still aren't here yet. And again, it's holding up my solar. So needless to say, I'm quite disappointed. And I doubt they're coming today. I mean, it should go fairly quickly. I think it's a half-day job. But you would think that they come first thing in the morning. So, I don't know. I'll check back in if they do come in. So they're still working on getting water to the cabin. That took a little bit longer because, you know, doing the trenching and all of that. But finally they got the farm babe in and they've gone to get another part to the water tank, because the water tank has been full of water now for a couple weeks and I haven't been able to access it just because I didn't have the water running from it and I needed to get a hose bib. So I've been using bottled water, the water that I brought with me from Texas. I brought cases and cases and bottles of water and I've pretty much gone through a lot of it. I still have some left, but that was supposed to be my long-term water storage, and so that's what I've been using. But it's nice to have this, so now I can just come over here and fill up or run a hose to wherever I need it. And sooner or later, I'll be working on getting the second tank. That, you know, it was actually top priority, but I dropped it down on the priority list because when I started adding up all the expenses once I got here, it was just like, wow. All right, that's not a big need right now. So yeah,